What's up guys, welcome to the ultimate text game quiz. In this video we're going to be breaking down a full Tinder layer board from start to finish, but we're also going to be testing your ability to respond to what the girl is saying so that you know just how good your texting skills really are. So this video is going to be quite different than what you're used to seeing on this channel because it's going to be a lot more interactive. In addition to breaking down a full Tinder layer board and giving you value in terms of that, we're also going to be testing your texting ability. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to read the line of what the girl said and then I'm going to pause for a few seconds. You're going to pause the video and you're going to basically write down or mentally whatever prepare what you think the right response is, and then you're going to compare it to what I say. And then we're going to see at the end of the video how close you came to actually having good text game. All right, so let's start off in the beginning. Hey, Trouble, she says, what's up? So what would you guys do here? Okay, now that you have your answer ready, and if you don't, just pause the video. There's many different directions you can go in. I simply said killing time at work, which is okay. You know, what you could say is just finishing up a big workout, looking nice and fit for our day, just relaxing in the jacuzzi, could use some company, just finishing up some work, perhaps you can be my distraction. There's many ways you can go about this, right? But the point is that you have to give her something she can respond to, right? So if I just said killing time at work without the you, that would be a bad text because she's like, okay, what should I say? And anyway, I'm gonna move on to the next guy, right? So you have to give her something she can grab onto, right? That's one of the rules of text game. She says, killing time at home, what do you do? So what would you guys do here? So there's many different directions you can go in here again. You know, simply at the time I worked in solar, so I said solar sales, come on by and sell some with me. So if you don't work in solar, don't say that. You can, you know, give you a real job. But the thing I want you guys to really focus in is I give her the logical answer, solar sales, and then I follow it up with like the playful text, right? Because if you just say solar sales, it's like, okay, cool, nice to meet you, bro, have fun doing solar, right? You want to give her something playful that she can easily respond to, right? But you also want to give her the logical answer. Now what you could also do is just say male stripping, you know, or something like that, right? Because that is a really fun answer. But the thing is that if you give her like a joking answer like male stripping, you ultimately have to tell her what you do, because otherwise it's gonna come off as if you're trying to hide your job, and that's not what you want. All right, let's keep going. She says, no, today's my one day off from work, ha ha ha. So what would you guys do here? So I actually think the test I sent here is really good. I said it'll be fun. We can start making out in front of customers to add some sexual tension to the presentation. So I think this is like really good role play, which is something, you know, I'm a big advocate for. Also, it's a good way of sexualizing because it does it with humor, right? So I initially like to sexualize always by using humor, because if the girl doesn't go for it, you know, that's kind of my excuse. Like, oh, I was kidding. Right? So yeah, so I think that's a good text. I honestly can't really think of anything better. I mean, you could, you know, make a joke about it being her day off. You could be like, okay, well, we're gonna have to celebrate this day off. I think that would be fine, but I think the text I sent was better. She says, trust me, I have plenty of sexual tension for just about this whole state. So that is a massive layup. She's just saying, hey, I am horny, I need to get fucked, right? So how would you guys respond to this? So what I said was this, and I think this was a very aggressive text, but I think it was one that was well warranted. I said, why don't we just skip then straight to the part where I pull your hair and fuck the shit out of you, right? Again, but the only reason I'm being so direct is because she gave me this massive layup, right? And I figured that she was gonna go for it. Some other text you could send, and she's like, I just have plenty of sexual tension for just about the whole state. I would have been like, ah, damn, I think we're gonna have to do something about that and release some of this tension. That's another text you can send, but I actually really like this text. I thought it was so solid. So here she says, promise to choke me too. So what would you guys do here? Actually, so the response here is you just keep it short and sweet. You don't have to like try to convince her or anything like that. I just said, of course. You can just say yes. You can say absolutely. You can say duh, something like that, right? But any one of those would be fine. You want to keep it short and sweet. She says when and where. So what would you guys do here? So the thing is that because clearly she wants to get laid tonight, like she's very clearly communicating that. She's like a now or never girl. So if you can't meet her tonight, if you're like, oh, I'll meet you next week or whatever, it's gone. She's gonna be like, yeah, sure. And then she's gonna meet up with another guy who's free that night. Again, she wants to get laid tonight and you have to capitalize on that. So I say my place tonight around 10. She says, you see, I don't really know you, and I do have to work tomorrow. Maybe I might need some more convincing. Okay, interesting. So what would you guys do here? So here there's many directions you can go in. You could basically start sexting her a little bit. But personally, I prefer to move this over to text. I say I can do that, text me. And I'm sure at this point, some of you guys might know the strategy I'm trying to follow. If you don't, you're gonna find out what it is really soon. So yeah, I think that moving her to text and basically telling her that you're gonna send her photos is good. I think that, a little bit of sexting, as long as it doesn't seem like you're try hard, is good. So there's multiple directions you can go in. So here she says, hey, it's blah, blah, her name. And what would you guys do here when the girl just simply tells you, hey, it's blah, blah, blah? Well, actually, I think the text I sent here wasn't that good. I think I was like focused too much on trolling her because I was at work and my mind was like really scrambled. I said, this is a church. Now that's a funny text you can send in most situations. Just in the situation where it's like really direct and sexual, like I don't think that kind of trolling really helps you. I don't think it hurts you. I just don't think it helps you. She says, whatever, liar. So what would you do here? Well, I think the only thing you can do is just drop the shtick. So I say, just playing, how's it going, blah, blah, blah. So I'm dropping the whole thing, moving back. Because if I keep this like weird joke going, that's going to blow out the interaction. She's going to be like, oh, that guy's not really serious about, meeting up tonight. So she says, so that extra convincing with the winky emoji. So what would you guys do here? There's a saying that says a picture is like 1,000 words. And so I don't think this is necessarily her saying, I want a dick pic, but it's certainly her hinting at it. So here I just sent her a dick pic, which is something that can work really good, unless you have a micro penis, in which case, don't do that. But yeah, this typically works well if the girl is like basically like low-key asking you for the photo. Another thing you could do is, again, you could do a little bit more sexting. You could send her like a paragraph of like what you're gonna do to her, like, hey, I'm gonna blah, blah, blah. You could send a shirtless photo if you have a good body. So there's multiple things you can do. This was just simply the one that I thought would be the most effective. Also, this was 2018, 2017. I was not in good shape back then, so sending a shirtless photo wasn't really an option. Okay. So she says, I thought you were at work, so what would you guys do here? So you're gonna do is just address that, right? Because you don't wanna be like, oh yeah, I take dick pics at work. So I say, it's not from right now, silly. She says, not that I'm disappointed, but you keep dick pics on your phone. So how would you guys address this potential challenge? Well, this one's actually pretty easy. You want to address this with humor. I say, never know when you're at work and the girl needs some convincing, right? Again, I'm not taking it too seriously. I'm not trying to justify myself. Oh, well, I was going to delete it, but then blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if you start justifying yourself, you're done, all right? And also, because I sent her a pic, I want her to reciprocate. So I say, send me a pic. So here she sends me a photo of her tits with her bra on. So how would you respond here? Well, the best way to respond is by sexualizing and sexting. So I say, I'd suck on your nipples till your pussy's dripping wet. Now, actually, I think I could have done better here. I probably would say, like, if this happened, like tomorrow, I'd say, I'd suck on those nipples nice and slow until your pussy's dripping wet and you're begging me for it. But I'm communicating the same thing. It just sounds a little bit better. But this is fine. Again, you want to sext a little bit, again, because this girl's she's DTF. She wants to get laid that night, but she's a little apprehensive. You're a random stranger. She doesn't know who you are, right? So you really want to like basically load the value proposition so it's a no-brainer for her. She says, serious question, how many times have you done this? Okay, this is a very important question because if you fail this, the whole thing goes down the drain. So what would you guys do here? So basically, when the girl says this, she wants to make sure that this is not something that like you do like twice a day. This is not something that you're not like a serial player, because that means there's a higher chance you have STDs, that you're not gonna take her seriously, that she might feel used. So what you want to do is communicate, hey, like I'm not a massive fuckboy. So the way I do that, I say, is a few times here and there, my job keeps me pretty busy, which is honestly the ideal response. Here she gives me the second one, are you clean? So what do you guys do here? Well, the best thing you can do is say something like this, yes, you as well, I hope. Because you don't want to make a joke here, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, just HIV or something like that, because with questions like this, you want to be very succinct and direct. Also, the you as well, I hope, is a very good addition because, if you're a guy who cares about his sexual safety like me, you want to make sure not only that the girl, the main thing you want to make sure is that she doesn't have any STDs either, right? So you want to kind of in a way flip it back on her. She says, yes, I am. Last question. Are you open to making this an as-needed type of relationship, assuming the sex is as good as I think it will be? So what would you guys do here? Again, so what she's getting at, she's like, hey, I don't want this to be just a one-night stand if we get along really well. I want you to be at least open to something else. So what I say here is, assuming you vibe well, that would be my ideal. And that's actually my genuine answer. Like, my ideal is we start off with sex and we see how things go and we build on that. And, you know, if we click really well, then maybe we become funk buddies. And if that goes well, you know, we get into a relationship. So that's literally exactly what I want. She says, okay, and then I'm so in. So what do you guys do here? So at this point, I just got really tired of work. This is not the optimal text. I say, perfect, you want to do tomorrow after work. Again, this is not a good text because it's now or never. I was just so tired at this point. She said, I'd say yes, but I have no idea when I get off. What are you doing tonight? So she's being very clear, hey, this needs to happen tonight, right? And again, if you don't make it happen, another guy will. Because I'm telling you, she might agree, like, oh, sure, tomorrow's fine, but then she's gonna go back on Tinder, meet another guy, and then he's gonna fuck her, and then she's gonna forget about your date, right? So I say, not much, I'm just pretty beat, so I don't know if my sexual prowess will be an all-time high. She's like, damn, but I was sort of looking forward to meeting you. So again, very clearly communicating now or never. So what would you guys do here? Well, the only thing you can do is recalibrate and basically set up a date for that night. I say, why don't you come, spelled C-U-M, haha, over around 10 then, I'll be rested by then. She says, trust me when I say probably won't require too much energy. It's been a while, haha. So what do you guys do here? At this point, it's just logistics. I say, hello, my address, blah, 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 text me, you're on your way. Says, okay. And here we have one last, I guess, objection. She says, shit balls, dude, you live over an hour from me, ha, ha, ha. So what would you guys do here? So the strategy I follow when the girl lives far away, it's a two-part strategy, and you're gonna see what it is. The first part of the strategy is to find out where she lives. So I say, where do you live? She gives me the address. So basically what I do is I make it seem like whatever the time is, like let's say she lives an hour and 20 minutes from me, I'll say, oh, it's probably gonna be an hour without traffic. So I reframe it in a more positive way. Let's say she lives an hour from me. I say, oh, it's like 45 minutes without traffic. And that's exactly what I do here. And that's something a lot of girls can relate to. Like, yeah, when traffic dies down, probably will be faster, right? So I just give her a very optimistic, I guess, travel guide to my place. She says, that's what I'm hoping. So what do you guys do here? Well, here's the second part of the strategy, which is I give her a little bit of an incentive. I say, I'll throw in a massage since you're being such a champ, right? So again, first part is you frame it in a more positive way. Second is you kind of bribe her with a massage. She says, deal, I'll leave about 9. Sounds good, on my way. How far is the GPS? So here's just logistics, so I don't really see point of like reading this. But yeah, you can see this just logistics. And then basically this girl comes over. We wound up having sex with like within her 5 minutes of her walking in. It was interesting because she works as a personal trainer, so she's like really fit. And I was asking her like, hey, why are you having such a hard time getting laid? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of your clients or people in the gym who are into you. And she's like, yeah, there is. But, you know, I don't want to mix work with pleasure, so I don't like to date anyone in the gym, which is kind of interesting that she goes on Tinder even though she has a lot of options in real life. But yeah, so you can see here that this is a pretty easy interaction as long as you're able to address her concerns and objections. If you can't, then it's going to be over. Also pick up on the cues that she's giving you and basically reciprocate. So let me know in the comments how well you did with the text game portion, whether you were 5 for 10, 8 for 10, or 0 for 10. All right, hopefully you guys found this video and quiz valuable. If you're enjoying this type of content, all we ask is that you guys hit the like button, hit subscribe, click the bell for notification, and share this video with a few friends because that really, really helps in the algorithm. Also, if you want more quizzes, check out our free text game quiz, link in the description. Or if you want to just check out more videos on texting, then check out this video. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.